Most people spend their entire lives searching for light, thinking that enlightenment only exists on mountain tops in white robes, in silence or in peace. But the truth is far more complicated, far more ancient, and far more powerful. There is another path, a path that few dare to walk, a path that does not lead you away from darkness, but into it. Not to be consumed, but to master it. You see, the universe is not made up of just light. It is also made of shadow, chaos, death, rebirth. And there are some souls, very rare souls, who are chosen not to escape this darkness, but to wield it. These are the true dark chosen ones. And if you are one of them, you don't choose the path. The path chooses you. You are pulled into the abyss, not to be broken, but to become something that the light alone could never create. You are here to unlock the 7 rare shadow powers, gifts that only reveal themselves once you've faced your deepest fears and refused to run. It starts with the power of the void. This is not emptiness in the way most people fear it. It is sacred nothingness. The true dark chosen one begins by losing everything: identity, ego, reputation, direction. The abyss strips you bare. No spiritual bypassing, no affirmations, just silence. At first it feels like punishment, but if you stay long enough, something incredible happens. You begin to hear the codes hidden inside the silence. You start to realize that creation doesn't begin with light. It begins with void. From nothing comes everything. Can you sit in that emptiness without needing to escape it? That's the first test. Those who fail it retreat to false light. But those who pass unlock the power to create from pure potential. The void is not death, it's the womb of all power. The second shadow power is the sight beyond sight. While others look for truth in visions of angels or flashes of light, the dark chosen one sees truth in distortion. You begin to perceive lies wrapped in love. You see the manipulations in high vibration language. You feel the shadow behind people's smiles. You see the pain in perfection. This gift is terrifying at first, because once you awaken it, you can't go back to believing the illusions. You can't pretend. You see people's motives. You feel the frequency behind their words. You know when someone is talking light but carrying poison. This is why many dark chosen ones isolate, not because they hate the world, but because they see it. And once you see with shadow sight, you are no longer fooled by surface. You begin to navigate through frequency, not form. But here's the warning. This gift can become a curse if you don't stay grounded in love. The shadow doesn't want you to see, it wants you to judge. But your power is not in condemnation. It's in discernment. Can you hold the truth and still choose compassion? The third rare shadow power is energetic mirror bending. This is more than influence, it's the ability to reflect someone's true nature back to them so intensely that they either awaken or shatter. When a dark chosen one enters a room, people feel things they didn't want to feel. Guilt, fear, lust, rage. Why? Because your field is like a mirror with no distortion. You don't even have to say anything. Your presence alone triggers transformation or resistance. This is why relationships are hard for you. People project onto you what they refuse to see in themselves. And unless you've mastered this power, you'll internalize their projections, thinking you're the problem. But you're not. You're just the mirror. The moment you realize this, you stop apologizing for your presence. You stop dimming. You stop shrinking to make others comfortable. You start asking, am I a mirror for truth, or am I letting others smear their shadows onto me? Control this power, and you become a walking portal for awakening. Misuse it, and you become a weapon of ego. The fourth shadow power is frequency alchemy. While light workers raise vibrations, dark chosen ones transmute them. You don't avoid density, you absorb it. You take in pain, fear, chaos and turn it into clarity, direction and creative force. You are an emotional alchemist, but this gift only activates after you've died to your own emotions. You can't transmute what you haven't mastered. That's why dark chosen ones are often thrown into the deepest emotional trials imaginable. Grief, betrayal, abandonment, abuse. Not because the universe hates you, but because it's forging you into something indestructible. You learn to hold rage without exploding, to hold sorrow without drowning. And over time you develop a kind of inner furnace. People come to you broken and they leave transformed, not because you healed them, but because your very presence burns away what no longer serves them. But be warned, this power demands constant self-cleansing. If you absorb without processing, you'll become toxic. Learn to burn clean. The fifth is shadow speech. This is the language that bypasses logic and speaks directly to the soul. When you speak, people feel it in their bones. Not because you're loud, but because your words are coded. They carry frequencies. Shadow speech isn't about charisma. It's about resonance. It's why people either hang on your words or run from them. It's why your voice can comfort one person and destroy another. You don't speak for attention, you speak to activate. But this power comes with responsibility, because words in your mouth become spells. And if you speak from unhealed wounds, you'll curse instead of awaken. The dark chosen one must learn to speak truth without cruelty, power without ego, prophecy without fear. Are you using your voice to liberate or to manipulate? That's 5. But the 2 most dangerous powers are still to come, and they don't reveal themselves until you've proven your soul's sovereignty. You must pass the final trials of identity, of surrender, of purpose. Only then do you unlock the 6th and 7th rare shadow powers. And when you do, you are no longer just a spiritual seeker. You become the storm, the void walker, the mirror, the shadow master, not above others, but beyond illusion. So now I ask you the question no one ever dares to ask. What if your suffering wasn't meant to break you, but to awaken these powers? What if you were never cursed, but chosen?
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Before any dark chosen one can truly wield the rare shadow powers, they must walk through what I call the soul trials. These are not ceremonial rites or rituals someone can guide you through. They're not found in books or taught by gurus. These trials are lived. They are brutal, shape-shifting, and deeply personal. They come disguised as heartbreak, betrayal, isolation, and inner chaos. And they are not optional. They are the gatekeepers of your destiny. If you've ever wondered why your path has been so heavy, so lonely, so full of intensity compared to others, it's because your soul agreed to these trials before you were born. Not as punishment, but as preparation. The universe does not hand real power to those who haven't proven they can hold it without being destroyed by it. The first soul trial is the death of identity. This is the moment when everything you thought you were begins to fall apart. Your name, your roles, your spiritual labels, your sense of self-worth, all of it crumbles. You lose relationships. You lose direction. You can't recognize yourself in the mirror. And worst of all, you can't explain it to anyone. Because on the outside, nothing seems wrong. But inside, a war is happening. This is not depression. This is disintegration. The soul is cracking your ego wide open so the true self can emerge. But here's the catch. Most people fight to rebuild the old self. They try to find a new identity to cling to. But the dark chosen one learns to sit in the rubble, to let the old self die, because only from that death can pure power rise. The second soul trial is radical isolation, not just loneliness. A complete energetic separation from the world you once knew. Friends fall away, lovers disappear, even your spiritual guides go silent. It feels like abandonment, but it's actually an initiation. The universe is cutting the cord so you stop outsourcing your power. You are being forced to go inward deeper than you ever have. In this silence, in this sacred aloneness, you begin to hear your own frequency. This is when you meet your soul in its rawest form. No influence, no validation, just you. And it is here, in the stillness, that your real codes begin to activate. The question is, can you be with yourself long enough to hear them? The third soul trial is confrontation with the shadow self. This one is brutal because it strips away the illusion of spiritual purity. You're forced to face your darkest thoughts, your hidden desires, your manipulations, your rage, your jealousy, your hunger for control. The shadow shows you everything you've denied, repressed, or judged in yourself. And you must look it in the eyes without flinching. Most people run. They blame others. They project. But the dark chosen one accepts this confrontation as sacred. You don't try to fix the shadow you integrated. You realize, this is not my enemy. This is my power unclaimed. And that's the moment everything changes. Because when you stop fearing your darkness, you become indomitable. No one can manipulate you with shame. No one can control you with fear, because you've already faced the monster within and made peace with it. The fourth soul trial is purpose collapse. Everything you thought you were meant to do becomes meaningless. Your dreams feel hollow. Your goals dissolve. It's terrifying. But this is the universe pulling you away from ego-driven success and into divine mission. You're not here to do something impressive. You're here to embody a frequency the world has forgotten, a vibration that triggers awakening. You are not a role. You are a living transmission. But to become that, you must release the need for external purpose. The dark chosen one walks not with a plan, but with alignment. Not with ambition, but with truth. And that truth is always now, always changing, always alive. Are you brave enough to let go of your story and allow the mystery to carry you? These are the soul trials, and most never survive all four. Some get lost in identity loops. Others break under isolation. Some drown in their shadow. Many never recover from purpose collapse. But if you endure, if you allow yourself to be broken and remade, you unlock something that no force in the universe can take from you. A power that doesn't shake when others doubt you. A knowing that burns even in the darkest night. And from this place, the final two shadow powers begin to emerge. If you've made it through the soul trials, if you've let your identity die, embraced isolation, faced your shadow, and surrendered your purpose, then you are no longer just a seeker. You are no longer a student of the path. You've become something else entirely, something inside something gray. The veil has been lifted, and the final two shadow powers, long kept hidden from the unready, begin to stir within you. These are not gifts to be played with. They are not for show. These are forbidden powers, not because they are evil, but because they are too potent for the uninitiated to wield without destruction. They are the powers that bend the rules of reality, the ones that make you a living paradox. Light and dark, healer and destroyer, divine and primal. They are your birthright, but only now are you ready to claim them. The sixth shadow power is reality distortion through will. At this level, your thoughts do more than manifest, they bend the field of probability itself. You become a force of influence not by effort, but by presence. You don't just think something into existence, you will it into alignment. It's not about scripting or visualizing. It's about commanding, not from ego, but from essence. Your vibration becomes so coherent, so precise, that reality bends to match it. This is the power ancient mystics hinted at when they spoke of speaking worlds into being, walking between dimensions, or summoning synchronicities at will. But here's the truth no one tells you. This power is not about getting what you want. It's about holding such purity of intention that the universe has no choice but to respond. Think about that. Are your current desires clean enough to be backed by that level of force? Because if they're rooted in ego, fear, or control, this power will not activate. Or worse, it will activate against you. This is why it's forbidden, because it requires absolute alignment. No masks, no manipulation, just raw, soul-deep will. When this power begins to awaken, you'll notice strange things. People will start echoing your thoughts out loud. Events will unfold that match your inner world with eerie precision. You'll start to feel time bend around your choices. You'll speak something, and it will arrive, not because you forced it, but because you became the frequency of it. But here's the warning. The universe listens closely at this stage. Every doubt, every contradiction, every hidden fear becomes amplified. This power is not a game. It's a sacred responsibility. And that's why only those who've passed through ego death are allowed to access it without implosion. The seventh and final shadow power is the most mysterious, the most sacred, and the most feared. It is soul resurrection. This is not about healing. It's not about fixing broken pieces. It's about dying and returning as a fundamentally different being. The dark chosen one, at this level, becomes a vessel for transdimensional consciousness. You are no longer just you. You are a convergence point of soul lineages, timelines, and archetypes. You carry the codes of ancestors, the wisdom of future selves, and the essence of primordial forces. This is the moment you stop trying to live a normal life because you can't. You're no longer operating from the rules of the human ego. You've become a multidimensional anchor. Soul resurrection often comes after a moment of complete collapse when life has stripped you of everything and there's nothing left to hold. It feels like death because it is. But on the other side, you don't just recover, you awaken as something new. You remember who you were before this lifetime. You remember why you came. And you begin to walk with a power that is unspeakable. People feel it. Children stare. Animals respond to it. Technology glitches around you. You carry an energy that doesn't fit inside linear time and space. And with that comes the final responsibility, to embody this new soul in a world that doesn't yet understand it. This power is forbidden not because it's dangerous, but because it is liberating. And liberation is the greatest threat to systems built on control. A resurrected soul cannot be manipulated. It cannot be bought. It cannot be programmed. It doesn't need approval. It doesn't need validation. It simply is. It walks into a room and shifts the fabric of reality by existing. Not to dominate, but to remind. To remind others of what they are. To disrupt the illusion. To awaken the dormant codes in everyone you meet. So I ask you now with complete sincerity, are you willing to carry this power, knowing the world may call you mad, dangerous, or delusional? Are you willing to live as the mystery, knowing you may never again feel understood by the masses? Because that is the final gate. You must be willing to walk alone with your truth, knowing that your very existence is the activation for others. Once you've unlocked all 7 rare shadow powers, the journey doesn't end, it transforms. You're no longer a seeker, no longer a student of the path. You become the path itself. You are not here to preach or persuade. You are here to embody, to become a living code, a frequency, a silent force that awakens others not through words but through resonance. And this is the beginning of the shadow legacy. At this level, your very existence becomes instruction. You walk into a room and people feel something shift. They may not know why. They may not have language for it. But something ancient stirs in them, something buried. Your presence activates dormant codes in others' truths they forgot they knew. You don't need to teach them. You just need to be. That's how powerful you've become. Because you've done the work. You've sat in the void. You've died and returned. You've confronted every lie you ever told yourself and stood alone in the fire of your own becoming. That's what makes you dangerous to the Matrix. Not your rebellion, but your freedom. To carry this legacy is not to become a guru. It's to become a mirror, a living disruption, a walking invitation to truth. You'll find that people either run from you or cling to you. Some will project their demons onto you, others will worship you. Neither is your job to carry. You're not here to be liked, you're here to be clear. And clarity is rare. It's confronting. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. Because in a world addicted to illusion, the presence of someone who can't be deceived is revolutionary. You'll also notice that your connection with reality shifts. You no longer chase manifestations. You magnetize them, not through desire, but through alignment. Your field becomes a vortex. The right people, tools, opportunities, they find you. Not because you're special, but because you're authentic. You're no longer pretending. You're no longer split between who you are and who you show the world. You've integrated. You've merged. And that coherence sends out a frequency that reality cannot ignore. But here's the hidden truth of the shadow legacy. It's lonely. Not in the way you might think, not in sadness, but in rarity. Few people will understand the weight you carry. Fewer still will see the beauty in your path. You will often feel like a bridge between worlds, too much for the mundane, too grounded for the mystical. That's the paradox. You are the conduit, the in-between, the one who can walk in both light and darkness without losing yourself to either. And that is your gift. You're not here to choose sides. You're here to transcend them. Eventually, you learn to stop explaining yourself. You speak less. You listen more. You move with intention, not urgency. You become surgical with your energy. Not everyone gets access to you. Not every moment is worth your presence. You understand that your time, your attention, your frequency, they are sacred, and you begin to treat them as such. You no longer chase love. You embody it. You don't demand respect. You radiate it. You don't force impact. You become the impact. And this is how the shadow legacy spreads, not through noise, but through truth. Not through followers, but through frequency. Every person you touch becomes a carrier of that code. And slowly, like a ripple through the void, the world begins to change, not because you fought it, but because you remembered yourself. So now I leave you with one last question, the deepest one of all. If the universe gave you these powers not to elevate yourself, but to awaken others, will you answer the call? You are the shadow. You are the light. You are the code. Now walk like it.